Welcome in to Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. Night one of the 2022 NFL Draft has been eventful, and a big part of that, Philadelphia Eagles moving up in a trade with the Houston Texans to number 13 to take their first player in this draft class, a guy who's been rumored to go to Philadelphia for quite some time, an athletic freak and defensive tackle, Jordan Davis. Now, what a night it is for all Philadelphia sports fans. The Philadelphia 76ers dusted off and crushed the Toronto Raptors on the road to move on to the second round of the NBA playoffs. And now the Eagles, with Howie Roseman, the aggressive general manager that he is, a mover and shaker. And for a long time, the Baltimore Ravens, Philadelphia Eagles, two teams rumored to be in on Jordan Davis. Essentially what the Birds do here, they jump Baltimore at number 14 to get their guy in Davis. Now, I know a lot of you like the pick, some of you don't. This guy is an athletic freak with enormous upside. His size is ridiculous. 6'6", 341 pounds, and at the NFL Scouting Combine, he ran a 4.7 40. Now, the big question with Jordan Davis, with the defending national champion Bulldogs last year from Georgia, can he be a 3-down player, or is he only going to be a 2-down player? And if you move up to number 13 to get a guy in the middle portion of the first round, are you only getting a guy who can give you 2 snaps and maybe only be a 2-down player as compared to a 3-down player like a Javon Hargrave or a Fletcher Cox? But the Combine Pro Day athletic testing numbers were flat out ridiculous, and if he can develop into a 3-down starter, you're looking at potentially the next Fletcher Cox in an Eagles uniform. He ran that 4.78 40-yard dash. His 20-yard split was tremendous given the size at 2.74. His 10-yard split, 1.63. So he does have that explosion with some of those short steps, and in those short spaces, a broad jump of 10.3 and a vertical jump of 32 inches. Now, obviously, that doesn't indicate that Jordan Davis is going to be a perennial Pro Bowl player, but the Eagles over time have done a good job of developing defensive tackles. Look no further than Fletcher Cox. Look no further than Javon Hargrave, and now Jordan Davis could be next up. We're going to continue to break this selection down. We'll get to the trade details as well, and don't worry, Thomas Mott will have a Night 1 Eagles draft recap later on tonight. I know a lot of you are mad that I'm on camera, but it's all good because I'm from Westchester and I went to Temple University. First up, I want to hear from Eagles fans in the comment section. You're feeling it tonight. The Sixers move on to the second round of the playoffs, and now you get a player with enormous upside. Give me your one-word reaction to this selection in the first draft by Philadelphia. As for those trade details, Eagles moved up to number 13. They were able to step over the Baltimore Ravens, who were picking at 14, and really would have loved for Jordan Davis to be their next Haloti Ngata. The Texans get the 15th overall selection, so the Eagles still have that other first-round pick, a fourth-round pick at 124, and then 2 fifth-round picks at 162 and 166. This goes to show you that the scouting department, as well as Howie Roseman, they were all in on the prospects of trying to land this prospect in Jordan Davis. The scouting report for him, clearly the best run stopper in this year's draft class, and that's a big reason why he's such a polarizing prospect. In nowadays pass-happy NFL, do you want a premium run stopper over a premium pass rusher? And can he play 3 downs, or is he only a 2-down player? The stats don't indicate his impact because he can draw double teams. He is just so strong and physical and can take over and win some of those double team matchups. But in turn, what does that do, folks? It opens up opportunities for other guys along that defensive front to pin their ears back and get after the opposing quarterback. He was a part-time player with Georgia, played less than 50% of the snaps at Georgia this past year. A part of that, his size, and that's something that's going to have to be monitored and watched, is his weight. But that Georgia defense, especially along that defensive front, was stacked. And they had the luxury of rotating defensive linemen in and out of that lineup to keep those guys fresh. And when Jordan Davis was fresh, he was straight up dominant. Now, this is why you subscribe to Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. Help us reach 28,000 subscribers as we bring you videos every single day, whether it be me, Thomas Mott, or somebody else here at Chat Sports. Also, here at Chat Sports as a company, we have a bevy of YouTube channels. We are this close to reaching 1 million subscribers across the board here at Chat Sports. Help us get to that milestone by hitting that red subscribe button down below. Picks before Jordan Davis to Philadelphia. Charles Cross, the offensive tackle out of Mississippi State, going to Seattle. That fulfills a big need for the Seahawks. Then a run on wide receivers happened at 10, 11, and 12. Jamison Williams, Eagles really liked him. And if he dropped, I think he could have been the pick for Philadelphia. Instead, he goes number 12 to the Detroit Lions. Chris Olave before him at number 11 to the New Orleans Saints, and the number 1 wide receiver in this draft class, Garrett Wilson, going 10th overall to the New York Jets. Eagles offseason needs right now, and maybe this is an indication of what they can still do in the first round, but also elsewhere in the NFL draft. $11+ million in cap space. That's 19th in the National Football League. Some good additions throughout this offseason. That familiarity from Zach Pascal as well as Nick Sirianni, I think, is going to help Jalen Hurts a little bit. And you know what's funny? A lot of people in the Chat Sports offices were like, is Philadelphia moving up to take Malik Willis? If that would have happened, oh my gosh, I think the internet would have broken. Haason Reddick, the other big splash in free agency for Philly. Some of the losses, Brandon Brooks, Hassan Ridgeway. This helps fill that void, even though Ridgeway is more of a rotational defensive tackle. Jannard Avery and Steven Nelson also going elsewhere from no longer wearing an Eagles uniform. So to round things out, it's Jordan Davis going to the Birds after this trade up with the Houston Texans. And some more scouting notes that I have on Davis. Obviously, the size is going to stick out right away when you watch him throughout training camp as well as in the preseason. His point of attack is really, really impressive. And he has the strength to really reestablish and change the complexion at the line of scrimmage. He can overwhelm ball carriers as a tackler. With that speed, he can run down some wide receivers if you run some jet sweeps or bubble screens, as well as running backs and quarterbacks. He's a talented athlete for a player of his size. His motor is actually pretty good given his girth. And although he played few defensive snaps, 25.2 per game here in 2021 compared to just 32.9 in 2020. There was somewhat of a dip in terms of those snaps per game for Jordan Davis, but still, this guy can be a bona fide stud in the Eagles defense. Grade the pick for me before we hop on out of here. Appreciate all of you for tuning in to Philadelphia Eagles Now and making today's show a part of your day. Another reminder, Thomas Mott will have more at the end of the night. Grade the pick of JD, A, B, C, D, or F. Get those votes in, and thanks so much for being a part of today's show. Wait, so they traded to 14? Should we just redo the whole thing with the new player stuff? How long was that? Long enough before we got to the other stuff. I think it's just like redo it, combination of things going on. Jordan Davis, because the whole video we're talking about that other pick. And if we're talking, it's going to be outdated by the time that they moved up, but we'll see what happens with the other selection. So I say we just wait to see what the other selection is.